Ladies and gentlemen, success doesn't come by accident. It's not a stroke of luck, and it's not reserved for the chosen few. Success is the natural result of consistently applying the right habits over time. If you can develop these critical habits and stick to them, success will chase you down, shake your hand, and ask, "What took you so long?" Let me tell you something simple but powerful. Your habits shape your future. Not your intentions, not your dreams, not even your talent. Habits. Every day, you're either building towards success or drifting away from it. And the small disciplines, the things you do daily without applause, will eventually lead to extraordinary results. There's a certain kind of person who shows up a few minutes early, stays a little bit later, and gives just a bit more effort than expected. That person might not be the most talented, the most educated, or the most naturally gifted, but mark my words, that person wins. You're committed. Anyone can be interested when it's convenient. But commitment? That's revealed in the extra minutes, the quiet hours, the invisible efforts nobody sees. And that's where success begins, in the spaces where most people won't bother to show up. The temptation for most people is to wait for inspiration, to wait until they feel like it. But here's the problem. If you only do what you feel like doing, you'll never rise above the level of your moods. Real growth requires you to act, even when you're tired, even when you're discouraged, even when the results are invisible, especially then. That's where consistency proves its power. Anyone can sprint for a week. Anyone can get fired up after a seminar or a podcast. But sustained progress, the kind that builds something meaningful, only comes to the person who chooses discipline over distraction, structure over spontaneity, and purpose over pleasure. And it's not about becoming a workaholic. It's about developing the character to keep promises to yourself. It's about being the kind of person who doesn't just talk about dreams, but builds them. One block at a time, one early morning, and one late night at a time. Let me tell you something simple but profound. The world rewards visible results, but those results come from invisible effort. The athlete who wins gold didn't become a champion at the finish line. They became a champion in the cold mornings, in the lonely workouts, in the decision to practice again and again after the crowds left. The entrepreneur who builds a thriving business didn't strike gold overnight. They dug when others stopped. They made calls when others rested. They learned when others slept. And over time, time paid them back. Now you might be wondering, does it really matter if I put in a few more minutes? If I study just a bit more? Work a little longer? Get up slightly earlier? Yes, it matters. And not just because of the output. It matters because of what it makes of you. The goal is not just to do more, it's to become more. It's to train your willpower, stretch your focus, and build a personal standard so high that even your average days become better than most people's best. You see, when you show up early, you get a head start on your fears. You position yourself ahead of distractions. You begin your day on your own terms. And when you stay a little later, not out of obligation, but out of ownership, you finish strong. You close loops. You build momentum. And that momentum over time compounds. People underestimate the power of a single hour. One focused hour each day given to your future adds up to over 300 hours a year. That's nearly 2 full working months. Think about that. You can separate yourself from the pack not by doubling your talent, but by reclaiming the time others waste and reinvesting it into your purpose. You don't need to overhaul your life in one giant leap, but if you can build the habit of showing up, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, earlier than expected, and staying later with intention, you will create a reputation for reliability, discipline, and excellence. And people pay for that. Opportunities chase that. Life responds to that. So don't make excuses, make effort. Don't wait for perfect timing. Use what you have. Show up a little early, stay a little late, and commit to being consistent when it's boring, when it's hard, and when nobody's watching. Because in the long run, it's not the brilliant who win. It's the consistent. And the consistent over time become brilliant. You can't live an exceptional life on a diet of average ideas. The mind, just like the body, needs nourishment, real nourishment. You wouldn't go a day without eating, so why go a day without feeding your mind? Every day, you're either growing or decaying mentally. There's no neutral. And one of the most powerful ways to grow, to sharpen your thinking and expand your vision, is by reading. Reading doesn't just fill your mind with words. It shapes your thoughts, strengthens your beliefs, and builds a foundation of wisdom that separates you from the masses. A good book is like a mentor that never tires. It will sit quietly and wait for you to return, always ready to offer the same clarity, the same truth, the same challenge, over and over until it sticks. If you want to change your income, change your input. If you want to raise your influence, raise the level of ideas you expose yourself to. Read daily. Even if it's just 10 pages. Even if it's one powerful paragraph. Because here's the truth. The compound effect of reading daily is one of the greatest secrets to long-term success. A single idea can be worth millions. It can shift the way you think about time, money, relationships, and purpose. It can break chains that have held you back for years. It can unlock courage you didn't know you had. And those ideas are just sitting there, waiting inside books, for the person disciplined enough to seek them. Now, some say they don't have time to read, but they have time to scroll, to binge, to complain. It's not about time. It's about values. You always make time for what you value. So the real question is, how valuable do you believe your mind is? Do you protect it like an asset, or do you treat it like a storage closet filled with whatever garbage the world throws in? Reading is how you filter the noise and elevate your thinking. It's how you escape the gravity of the average. While the crowd reacts, the reader reflects. While others chase entertainment, the reader chases education. And that difference in mindset shows up in results, in reputation, and in resilience. You'll never meet a truly successful person who isn't a lifelong learner. They're constantly growing, constantly stretching, constantly upgrading the software in their minds. Why? Because they know the marketplace pays for value, and value comes from knowledge, from insight, from perspective. And those things aren't picked up in gossip, they're found in books. Every time you read, you place yourself in a different room with different conversations and different people. You gain access to thinkers and leaders and achievers, some living, some long gone, who've already done what you're trying to do. You can borrow their wisdom, avoid their mistakes, and accelerate your growth, all because you had the humility to learn from pages instead of pain. And don't think you need to read for hours. You just need to read daily. Let it become a habit. Make it a part of your rhythm, like brushing your teeth or having your morning coffee. Keep a book by your bed, in your bag, on your phone. 5 pages here, 10 pages there. Over time, you'll surprise yourself. What starts as discipline becomes desire. What starts as effort becomes identity. You'll begin to think differently, speak differently, and act differently because your inner world has changed. Books won't solve all your problems, but they will prepare you to face them. They will give you tools, mental tools, to handle adversity, to manage stress, to lead better, to serve more, and to live with a clearer sense of purpose. In a world that's loud, fast, and often shallow, reading is your anchor. It slows you down, pulls you deep, and calls you higher. So guard your reading time, value it, protect it, feed your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. You don't need more entertainment, you need more education. You don't need louder voices, you need wiser ones. And those voices are waiting for you. bound in pages, ready to speak. Pick up a book today, not because someone told you to, but because you've decided to invest in the most powerful tool you own, your mind. Read daily. Think deeply. Live wisely. If you don't know where you're going, you'll likely end up someplace you never meant to be. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're prepared for. And preparation begins with direction. That's why setting clear goals is not just helpful, it's essential. Goals give your life order. They give your effort purpose. They give your days meaning. Without a goal, you're just reacting to the world. The goal, you're creating your world. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they never decided what they truly wanted. They wake up each day without a plan, let the world dictate their pace, and wonder why they feel stuck, exhausted, or behind. But here's the truth. You can't hit a target you can't see. Vague desires produce vague results. If you want clarity in your future, you need clarity in your goals. It starts with a decision. Decide what matters to you, not to your parents, not to your friends, not to the crowd, to you. What do you want your life to stand for? What would make you proud 10 years from now? What would make all the hard days worth it? Until you answer those questions honestly, you'll always be chasing distractions instead of building something lasting. Clear goals do more than guide you. They energize you. They wake you up with purpose. They pull you through discomfort. They remind you why you're saying no to lesser things. Without goals, you burn out. With goals, you burn bright. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait to feel ready. Start with what you know. Set the kind of goals that stretch you, but don't break you. The kind of goals that get you out of bed, not out of fear, but out of commitment. Make your goals specific. Give them deadlines. Write them down. Something powerful happens when you write your goals. They shift from wishes to instructions, from floating thoughts to focused targets. And don't just write your goals and forget them. Read them daily. Speak them out loud. Keep them in front of your eyes and close to your heart. Because life will test you. Challenges will show up uninvited. And in those moments, you need a reason bigger than your resistance. You see, goals aren't just about achievement. They're about direction. You may not reach every goal, but you'll become more focused, more resilient, and more refined in the pursuit. Without direction, time slips away. With direction, every hour has value. Without a goal, problems feel overwhelming. With a goal, they become puzzles, part of the process, not the end of it. And yes, goals require sacrifice. But what's the alternative? Wandering through life, hoping things will change? That's not a strategy. That's surrender. At some point, you have to take full ownership of your life. Not blame, not excuses, ownership. And goal setting is how you begin. Make your goals your own. Make them personal. Make them meaningful. Don't just chase numbers. Chase the growth, the impact, the legacy. Ask yourself, who do I need to become to earn this goal? Because goals don't just give you something to do, they give you someone to become. Your destiny is not determined by chance, it's determined by choice. The small daily decisions to stay on course, to refocus when you drift, to act when you'd rather wait. That's where transformation happens. The direction you set today will decide the destination you arrive at tomorrow. And here's the beautiful part. It's never too late to reset your direction. You can make a new decision today. You can pick a new target. You can rewrite your future with one clear, committed goal. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. The best time to set a goal was years ago. The second best time is right now. So, don't just live by routine, live by intention. Don't just work hard, work toward something. Make your direction clear, make your efforts count. And remember, success doesn't come to those who try everything. It comes to those who pursue something with clarity and conviction. Direction equals destiny. So aim well, aim with courage, aim with vision, and never forget, you are fully capable of building a life worth living, one clear goal at a time. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must stop pointing fingers and start turning the mirror around. That moment is called maturity. That's when growth begins. Real, lasting, meaningful growth. Not when life gets easier, not when others treat you better, but when you take full responsibility for your choices, your actions, and your results. You see, as long as you make excuses, you give away your power. Excuses sound like protection, but they're actually prison bars. They make you feel safe while keeping you stuck. The moment you blame the economy, your background, your upbringing, your boss, or your spouse, you've just handed them the keys to your future. And here's the truth. Nobody is coming to rescue you. This is your life. This is your race. And your results are your responsibility. Now, this doesn't mean you control everything. You don't. Life throws curveballs. People lie. Doors close. Storms hit without warning. But the issue isn't what happens to you, it's how you respond. Responsibility is not about fault, it's about ownership. You may not have caused the problem, but if it's in your life, it's your job to deal with it, to rise above it, to adjust, to adapt, to overcome. Because that's what winners do. They don't make excuses, they make adjustments. When things don't go as planned, they don't sit and sulk. They recalibrate. They ask, what can I do differently? Instead of, why is this happening to me? That shift in mindset is everything. It moves you from victim to victor, from reaction to response, from stuck to strong. The truth is, excuses are seductive. They feel good in the moment. They take the heat off. They let you off the hook. But they come with a cost. Excuses rob you of progress. They lull you into complacency. They give you a false sense of comfort while your dreams quietly wither. Responsibility, on the other hand, is tough at first. It stings. It calls you out. It demands honesty. But it also gives you back your power. The power to change. The power to choose. The power to rewrite the story. Ask yourself, what areas of your life have you been handing off to blame? Your finances, your health, your relationships, your career. Somewhere along the line, it's easy to tell ourselves, it's not my fault. But fault is never the real issue. The real issue is whether you're willing to take charge from this moment forward. Taking responsibility isn't about being perfect. You're going to mess up. We all do. But when you own your mistakes, instead of covering them up, you grow. When you stop justifying poor decisions and start learning from them, you mature. When you stop hiding behind the phrase, that's just how I am, and instead say, that's who I was, but I'm working on who I'm becoming, that's when transformation happens. The most successful people in any field, whether business, sports, or life, are not the ones who never failed. They're the ones who never blamed. They failed, sure, but they took the hit, made the adjustment, and moved forward stronger than before. You don't need to be flawless. You just need to be honest. When something goes wrong, instead of saying, that's just bad luck, ask, what can I learn? Instead of saying, they did me wrong, ask, what could I have done differently? Instead of saying, I don't have time, say, I haven't made it a priority. Because the minute you stop lying to yourself, the minute you stop making excuses, is the minute you start making progress. Responsibility is the starting point of all achievement. No one hands you greatness. You rise into it, one choice at a time. You build it, one day at a time. And it starts when you say, no more excuses. From now on, I take the lead. You don't have to control everything, but you must own everything. You must lead with mastery. You must decide. You must lead with mastery. You don't have to control everything, but you must decide. You must You must, you must, you must, you must, you must. That's where strength is born. That's where real confidence begins, not in perfection, but in ownership. So take responsibility for your thoughts, for your habits, for your time, for your future. This is your life. Make it count. How you start the day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you want to change your life, don't start with your goals. Start with your mornings. The first hour after you wake up is the most powerful time you have. It's where direction is set, attitude is formed, and momentum is born. When you win the morning, you take command of the day, and when you own enough mornings, you begin to shape your destiny. Too many people start their day in chaos. They wake up late, rush around, check their phones, scroll through problems that don't belong to them, and enter the day already behind, mentally cluttered, emotionally reactive, and physically unprepared. They don't own the day owns them. And by the time they finally catch their breath, they've lost their edge. That's no way to live, and it's certainly no way to grow. The secret lies in intention. A strong morning doesn't happen by accident. It's built on purpose with purpose. And the beauty is, you don't need a complicated routine. You don't need to do what everyone else is doing. What you need is to protect the first hour of your day like it's gold, because it is. To understand that the moon will not rise today. It is one big barrel. That first hour is your time, your space, your foundation. Guard it fiercely. Start by waking up before the world demands something from you. Get up on your own terms. When you rise early, you gain an advantage. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You create space to think, to prepare, to choose your state of mind instead of reacting to it. The early hour is quiet, it's clear, and it's yours. Use it to design the day, not just stumble into it.